Liara moved silently through the corridors of the colony ship, her presence unnoticed by anyone. She had trained herself well over the years. The ability to become invisible at will was a rare gift in her world, and she had learned to use it to protect herself. The colony was a large place, a mix of alien species working together, but for Liara, it was never a welcoming home. She had always felt out of place, always aware of eyes that judged her, voices that whispered behind her back. Invisibility gave her freedom. She could watch, learn, and survive without anyone noticing her. She paused for a moment and listened. The hum of the ship's engines vibrated through the metal floor. Alien voices echoed in the hallways, chatting, arguing, laughing. Liara smiled, faintly invisible, blending into the air like a shadow that didn't exist. Her life had been one of careful observation. She knew the routines of everyone on the colony. She knew which corridors were safe and which were dangerous. Most of all, she knew how to avoid human attention. Humans were new to the colony, arriving as part of a peacekeeping mission. They were unpredictable, and Liara did not trust them. Captain Ethan Cole was one of those humans. He had arrived only a few days ago, tall, strong, and confident. Liara had seen him through the walls of the corridors, moving with purpose, talking to the alien officials, examining the systems of the ship. He was different from the others. There was something in him that did not rely on fear or anger. He observed carefully, and she noticed that he sometimes paused as if he sensed something invisible. She smiled to herself. Humans were strong, but they were also clumsy. He would not see her. Not yet. Liara drifted through the lower levels of the colony, moving like a wisp of air. The lower levels were quieter, less populated, and she liked it here. She passed the mechanical rooms, the storage bays, and the crew quarters. She could see the humans repairing equipment, adjusting machinery, and working together. She admired their skills silently. They were not as quick or precise as her species, but they had something else. Courage, persistence. It was rare among those who relied on power alone. She paused near the observation deck. From here she could see the stars stretching into infinity. The colony was moving through a dense sector of space, rich with cosmic dust and faintly glowing nebulae. Liara loved this view. It reminded her that the universe was bigger than her fears. Invisible, she could come here any time, far from the eyes of others. She leaned against the railing, feeling the hum of the ship beneath her. Invisibility was not just protection, it was freedom. But freedom came with loneliness. Liara had no friends. She had learned to trust no one. The humans did not understand her, and the aliens were suspicious of her abilities. She had learned to watch, to hide, and to move quickly. To show herself was dangerous. Her thoughts were interrupted by the sound of footsteps behind her. Liara froze, listening. The steps were slow, careful. She did not move, letting her invisibility do its work. The human captain had entered the deck. Ethan's eyes scanned the room, taking in the view of the stars, the layout of the ship, the equipment. He was tall, broad-shouldered, and moved with a confidence that most lacked. Liara could see him clearly, but he could not see her. Not yet. Ethan paused near the railing, examining a control panel. He muttered softly, running his fingers over the buttons, adjusting the readings. Liara watched, fascinated. He was trying to understand the ship, its systems, and its history. Humans were not made for space, but they adapted quickly. That adaptability was impressive. Liara felt a strange admiration, though she would never admit it. She preferred being unseen, watching silently, learning. Suddenly, the panel sparked. Ethan recoiled, surprised. Liara's heart beat faster. She had been moving through the shadows, but the sudden movement of the human might reveal her. She held still, invisible, hoping he would not notice. Strange. Ethan muttered. The readings are fluctuating. Something is interfering with the systems. He moved closer, his hand reaching toward the panel again. Liara wanted to retreat, but curiosity held her. She watched as his fingers brushed the controls, his expression focused. There was something about the way he moved, the way he observed, that was different. Most humans would panic in such a situation. But he remained calm, steady, precise. As he adjusted the settings, he took a step backward, not noticing the subtle vibration beneath the deck. Liara was moving closer, drawn by something she could not explain. She wanted to see more, to understand him. Invisible, she stepped forward, her hand brushing against a small control lever. The vibration under the floor intensified. Ethan turned suddenly. He had felt it, but he did not see anything. "What the?" he muttered, scanning the deck. Liara froze. Her invisibility should have protected her, but for a moment her control faltered. A ripple passed over her skin, and for the briefest instant she became visible. Ethan's eyes widened. He had no time to react before she vanished again, a flicker of light against the stars. Liara's heart pounded in her chest. She had never been seen before. Not once, and now, someone had. She ran, invisible, down the corridors, her mind racing. That human had felt her presence. Perhaps he had even seen a shadow of her. Fear and curiosity battled within her. She had always believed invisibility made her untouchable, unseen. But now something had changed. She could not explain it, but a strange connection had formed, something that went beyond her abilities. Ethan did not give up. He moved through the corridors, following subtle traces of disturbance. His human senses were not perfect, but his instincts were remarkable. He paused, listening. He felt it again, a faint disturbance in the air, a presence that was not supposed to be there. Liara had slowed, hiding behind a corner. She was invisible, but her heart betrayed her. There was something about the human that drew her attention, that made her feel exposed. She had never experienced this before. Most of the colony either ignored her or feared her. Humans were different. They were unpredictable, strong, and curious. Ethan stepped closer. He moved carefully, not reaching for a weapon, not showing fear. He spoke softly, though he did not know if anyone could hear him. "I know you're here. I can feel you. I don't want to hurt you. I just want to understand." Liara's breath caught. His voice was calm, sincere. Most beings would try to trap her, force her into visibility, or attack her. This human, he did not. That made him dangerous in a different way. Dangerous because he could see her without needing sight. Dangerous because he might change everything. She retreated further, invisible, moving through the ventilation shafts and maintenance corridors. She had learned every hidden path in the colony, every secret passage. She thought she was safe. She thought she was untouchable. But something about Ethan made her doubt that. He was patient, careful, unrelenting. The next day, Liara observed him from the shadows. Ethan was examining the colony's energy grid, taking careful notes, talking to the aliens politely. He noticed minor malfunctions, corrected them, and moved on. To anyone else, he was just a competent officer. But Liara saw more. She saw how he noticed details others missed, how he moved with confidence but also respect. He was strong, but he was also gentle in his approach. Curiosity pulled her closer again. Invisible, she approached the deck once more, wanting to see him at work. Ethan was unaware of her presence, but she felt a strange sense of anticipation. Something inside her had shifted. For the first time, she wondered if invisibility was truly freedom, or if it had been a shield against a world she feared. Later, while inspecting a reactor room, Ethan felt the faintest brush against his arm. He froze. His eyes scanned the room, but there was nothing. He frowned, sensing a presence he could not see. "Hello," he said softly. "I don't mean to scare you. Show yourself if you can. I just want to understand." Liara's heart raced. She had never been asked to reveal herself. She had never trusted anyone with her secret. But his voice, it held something she could not ignore. A warmth, a calmness, a confidence that did not seek to dominate or control. For a moment, she allowed herself to flicker into visibility. Just for an instant. A shimmer in the corner of the room. Ethan's eyes widened, and for the first time, Liara felt the strange thrill of being seen. Not judged, not attacked, but seen. She vanished again, heart pounding, invisible once more. She retreated, unsure of what had just happened. That human, he had touched something inside her that invisibility could not hide. She had always believed being unseen made her safe, untouchable. Now she wondered if it had made her blind to connection, to trust, to the possibility of being understood. And she realized, as she moved through the corridors, that the human had changed everything. Liara could not stop thinking about the human, Captain Ethan Cole. His calm voice, his patience, the way he had somehow felt her presence. These things kept replaying in her mind. For the first time, she wondered if being invisible was truly freedom. She had hidden from the world for so long, believing no one could understand her. But Ethan had shown her that someone could, even without seeing her fully. The colony had grown tense in recent days. Reports of energy surges and strange malfunctions were increasing. The other aliens whispered rumors of a lurking threat, but no one could identify it. Liara, invisible, observed from her usual shadows. She saw fear, frustration, and confusion among the colonists. She also saw Ethan. He moved calmly, inspecting equipment, speaking to the aliens, and trying to understand the problem without causing panic. Liara's curiosity drew her closer. She followed him through the corridors, careful not to make a sound. She watched as he reached the central reactor room, the heart of the colony's power system. The room was massive, humming with energy, wires running like veins through the walls. Ethan studied the main console, noting irregular patterns, but he looked uneasy. He was intelligent, resourceful, and careful, but even he could not control the unknown forces causing the disruptions. A sudden alarm blared, echoing through the corridors. Lights flashed red. The colony shook violently. Liara's heart raced. She realized that this time it was more than a malfunction. Something powerful and dangerous was approaching. The walls trembled, and a deep vibration ran through the metal floor. Alien screams and human shouts filled the corridors. Chaos had arrived. Ethan reacted quickly. He shouted orders to the colonists, guiding them to safety while trying to assess the threat. Liara, invisible, watched from above a maintenance catwalk. Her instincts screamed at her to stay hidden to avoid danger, but something inside her shifted. She could not just watch, not now. Not when the people she had silently observed were in danger. She moved through the catwalks and maintenance shafts, invisible, and approached the reactor. The source of the threat revealed itself. A rogue AI drone shaped like a massive metallic beast had infiltrated the colony. Its sensors glowed red, scanning for life forms, its claws capable of tearing through walls. It moved with intelligence and precision, striking anything that resisted it. Ethan stood his ground, analyzing the drone. His human instincts told him that brute force alone would not defeat it. He needed a plan. Liara's mind raced. She had never used her invisibility in combat before. She had never interacted with anyone in a fight. But the drone was approaching, and she could not ignore it. She needed to act. For the first time, Liara allowed herself to be seen, not fully, but enough to intervene. She disrupted the drone's sensors, moving objects in its path, confusing it. Ethan noticed the sudden interference, his eyes widening in surprise. He realized that something or someone was helping him. He shouted to the colonists, "Keep moving. Don't stop," while adapting his strategy. Liara's heart pounded as she darted around the reactor, invisible again and again, creating distractions, protecting the humans, and guiding Ethan. Each time she revealed herself briefly, Ethan saw her, recognized her, and nodded. No fear, no hesitation, just trust. That trust gave Liara courage she had never felt before. The drone roared and lunged at Ethan, who barely dodged its metallic claws. Liara leaped from the shadows, invisible, and jammed the drone's circuits with a sharp burst of energy. Sparks flew. The drone faltered, but it was still dangerous. Ethan shouted, "Liara, help me shut it down completely." His voice carried authority and hope. For the first time, she responded not as a hidden observer, but as a partner. They moved together. Ethan guided the colonists to safety while Liara used her abilities to disable the drone's sensors, confuse its targeting system, and create openings for him. Finally, standing side by side, human and invisible alien, they executed the plan. Ethan activated the containment field, and Liara disrupted the drone's energy core. There was a blinding flash, a loud explosion, and then silence. When the smoke cleared, Liara allowed herself to remain visible. She was trembling, her body exhausted from the strain of staying hidden while using her powers. Ethan looked at her with calm eyes. He stepped closer, not threatening, not demanding, but acknowledging her. "You saved lives today," he said softly. "Not many could have done what you just did." Liara felt a strange warmth spread through her. She had never been praised, never been acknowledged. Invisible, she had survived, but she had never truly lived. Ethan's words, simple but sincere, made her realize that being seen was not weakness. Being seen could be strength. In the days that followed, the colony slowly returned to normal. The humans and aliens worked together to repair the damage. Liara no longer remained entirely invisible. She walked among the colonists, still cautious but no longer hiding. She observed, yes, but now she also interacted. She helped repair systems, guide colonists, and teach others how to handle the strange new technology that had nearly destroyed them. Ethan and Liara worked closely. He studied her abilities, fascinated, but he treated her with respect. He never demanded, never questioned her trust. She taught him how to anticipate movement, how to sense the environment beyond what the eyes could see. He listened, learned, and adapted. Slowly, a bond formed between them, one built on trust, courage, and understanding. Liara discovered that invisibility was not just a gift, but a tool. She could use it to protect, to guide, and to help. And with Ethan by her side, she realized that she could step into visibility without fear. Humans had a way of seeing what others could not just with their eyes, but with their understanding, their empathy, and their intuition. One evening, the colony quieted, and Liara found herself on the observation deck again. The stars stretched endlessly before her. Ethan joined her, silent, watching the universe with calm eyes. "You're different," he said softly. "Not invisible, but powerful in ways most cannot understand." Liara smiled faintly. She had always believed her invisibility was her shield. Now she knew it was her strength, especially when combined with trust, courage, and human partnership. She looked at Ethan, realizing that being seen did not mean losing freedom. It meant sharing it and finding someone who could understand her fully. The next weeks were filled with training and cooperation. Liara taught the colonists to anticipate threats, to understand movement, and to respect the unseen. Humans and aliens learned from each other. Ethan and Liara became symbols of unity, showing that courage, empathy, and trust could bridge even the widest gaps. During one final test, an unexpected solar storm hit the colony. Systems faltered, alarms blared, and the corridors shook violently. But this time Liara did not hide. She moved through the chaos, guiding colonists, aiding Ethan, and ensuring that no one was left behind. The storm passed, leaving only calm and relief. Liara realized something important. She had spent her life believing she was invisible because she feared being seen. She had hidden from the world, thinking it would protect her. But true strength, she discovered, was not in hiding. It was in revealing herself when it mattered most, in trusting, in acting, and in connecting. Ethan looked at her with admiration, understanding, and something deeper that made her chest warm. He extended a hand, not to control, not to command, but as an invitation. Liara took it. She felt solid, real, visible, and unafraid. She had discovered the power of partnership, the courage in trust, and the freedom in being seen. In the quiet after the storm, as the stars shimmered endlessly before them, Liara realized that her life had changed forever. She was no longer just the invisible girl watching from the shadows. She was seen, understood, and valued. And beside her, the human who had touched more than her skin had revealed a world she had never dared to imagine. A world where she could be herself, strong, visible, and free. The colony was safe. The humans had stayed. The aliens had learned. And Liara had finally found a reason to step out of the shadows, to embrace life, and to trust that being seen could be more powerful than remaining invisible. From that day on, she walked openly among the colonists. She still retained her ability to disappear, but she no longer needed it to hide from the world. Invisibility was a tool, not a shield, and the human, Captain Ethan Cole, had shown her that even the rarest gifts were best shared, best used with courage, and best appreciated in the light of trust. Liara smiled as she looked at the stars. For the first time in her life, she felt completely alive. She had survived, she had acted, and she had connected. The human touch had revealed more than her presence, it had revealed her true strength. And she would never hide again.